video is going to look at powers where we need to understand the rules of indices, but it's also using algebraic notation. So when you first look at it, it might feel a bit intimidating, but we're going to work through it and hopefully it will make some sense. So this first one says, write 5 to the power of 2n divided by 25 to the n minus 1 as a power of 5. So this is a power of 5, this top, but the bottom isn't. But hopefully when you look at that, you can see that we can easily make 25 into the power of a 5. So let's start with that. So we're going to leave the top exactly as it is. And the bottom we're going to rewrite as a power of 5. So we can put 5, and of course 25 is 5 squared. And then rule of indices, so that's going to be multiplied by n minus 1. Okay, and that's our first step. Let's take the next step to multiply out those brackets. So we're going to get 5 to the 2n minus 2. Okay, 2 times n and then 2 times minus 1. Now, remember your rules of indices. You know that if you're dividing, let's look at a general term. So if we had x to the power of 4 over x to the power of 3, we know that we can just subtract those indices and we would get x to the power of 1, or just x. So the same thing applies here. Because we've got them into the same format, they're both as powers of 5, we can just simplify it in that same way. So let's do it. So we would say that's going to equal 5 to the power of 2n, and we're going to subtract from that this bottom power, and let's put it in brackets so we make sure we do this right. Okay, so it'd be like that, and then we can take out the brackets, but be careful of your signs. I'm just going to move down here so I've got a bit of room. So that would equal 5 to the power of 2n minus 2n, which of course is nothing. And then we've got a minus 2. So that is going to give us a positive 2. And we can actually solve this to say 5 squared is 25. So that comes out rather nicely. And if you look at this at this stage, that may make sense to you, because you've got 5 over 2n, and 5 to the power of 2n over 5 to the power of 2n minus 2. So those would cancel each other out. You'd have a 5 to the minus 2, which means it's going to get flipped to become 2 at the top. Don't worry if that doesn't make sense to you. That's food for thought. Make sure you can do the process. Okay, so let's have a look at this one and write this as a power of 3. So neither one of these are in powers of 3, so we've got to change them both. So let's go for it. So we should know that 9 is 3 squared, and that's going to be multiplied by n divided by 2. On the bottom, 27 is 3 cubed, and that's going to be multiplied by n minus 2. Okay, so we should recognize those as multiples of 3. Okay, let's tidy this up. So we've got n divided by 2 and then times by 2. So that's simply going to leave us with 3 to the power of n. And on the bottom, we need to multiply out those brackets. So we're going to have 3 to the 3n minus 6. Okay. Now we're going to get to the stage where we're going to subtract our indices. So we would have 3 to the n minus, again I'm going to put it in brackets, 3n minus 6. And I'm moving down here so I've got some room. So that would give us 3. n minus 3n is going to give us minus 2n. And then we've got minus 6, which is going to come plus 6. Okay, and that is the end of that one. Let's do this last one. So again, we've got write this as a power of 2. Let's go for it. So we can say 4 is 2 squared, and that's going to be multiplied by n over 2. And we're going to divide that by 32. If we want to write it as a power of 2, is 2 to the 5. Of course, it's going to slow you down if you don't know your powers, your values, but you can always look at the prime factors and it will draw it out. Okay, let's simplify. So we've got n again divided by 2 and times by 2. So they're going to cancel each other out and we're just going to have 2n. And then at the bottom, we're going to have 2 to the, let's multiply out these brackets. So we get 5n plus 5. Okay, and now we're at the stage where we can take the indices away. Don't forget, it's because we've got those in the same format. So we can say 2 to the power of n minus, I'm going to put it in brackets, 5n plus 5. And that is going to simplify to 2. n minus 5n is minus 4n. And then minus times that positive is going to be minus 5. And we're done. So they look quite confusing, but once you know what you're doing, the maths never changes. It's just the format, the look of it. So just keep remembering your rules of indices, and they should be not too bad to deal with. Okay, end of this video.